Good evening. My name is Chris Robinson, and I am the moderator for this forum sponsored by the League of Women Voters of the St. Petersburg area. The League of Women Voters was founded 106 years ago, just before women gained the right to vote, in 1920. We are a nonpartisan public policy organization that has never endorsed a political party or candidate. We encourage informed and active participation in government and work to increase understanding of public policy issues through education and advocacy. And we have welcomed men as league members as well since 1974. As you can see, one of our timers is with us today.
Okay.
Tonight's forum features the candidates for Kenneth City Mayor. As a courtesy to others, please silence all electronic devices. This forum is being recorded and will be posted on the League's website. The recording may not be edited or used for campaign purposes. No other recording of this forum is permitted. If you have not yet submitted a question card, please raise your hand and a League volunteer will come to collect it. We will address as many questions as time permits. The 2026 municipal election will be held on March 10th. Please note that this is a forum, not a debate. The purpose of this forum is to provide candidates with an opportunity to present their views on issues of concern to the Kenneth City community. Interruptions and personal attacks will not be permitted. Each candidate will have 2 minutes for an opening statement. I will then pose the same questions to each candidate. Candidates will have 2 minutes to respond to each question. A timekeeper will provide a 1-minute warning, a 30-second warning, and a signal when time has expired. There we go. After the question and answer portion, each candidate will have 2 minutes for a closing statement. The views expressed by the candidates this evening are their own and do not represent those of the League of Women Voters. The candidates will now make their opening statements, and following a coin toss, we will start with candidate Arrison. We will now begin.
Good evening. Thank you for coming. Kenneth City was founded in 1957 as a small, friendly, safe town. The goals were to have quality services, safety for the residents, and that was done by the council and the police department and city. Well, we didn't have a city manager form of government then, but one other thing that was established was public trust. Now, public trust is something that I'm personally responsible for myself. And how do you establish public trust? Lawton Child had the same issues when he was running for governor. And what he decided to do? He decided that he would walk through the towns of Florida. And that's what I decided to do. If you got my campaign literature on your doorknob, I posted my face on there so everyone could see who they were voting for. I apologize to probably 80% of Kenneth City for setting off their Ring doorbells. So I do apologize for that. I've been running the town since the last 6 months, and we've been open and transparent and honest with everyone. I had one resident who questioned me during one of our meetings that I did something wrong, and I corrected that. Later on, I'm not the perfect candidate. I make mistakes, I'm a human being, but I will correct any mistakes I make as fast as I can and get back to any residents. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And now we will hear an opening statement from candidate Noble.
Thank you very much. Thank you everybody for coming, and thank you very much to the League of Women Voters for putting this on for our town. I've participated in one of these before, and I believe they're very useful for the candidates and for our citizens. You know, some of you know that I have been a council member, and last year I did resign because of health concerns, and I'm 100% now, and I'm excited about running for the mayor position. And through talking to a lot of our citizens over the years that I've lived here, one thing that's never been consistent is communication out to our citizens and transparency. And that is a huge thing that I'm really focused on, is transparency and communication out to our citizens. And we've also had over the past several years, we've gotten our comp plan up to date. We've also done a strategic plan. And so that will allow us to go out and get grants and things to work on infrastructure. And we should have we've got a new town manager that's doing a wonderful job, in my opinion. The first town manager we've had that's extremely qualified. And so, you know, with all this going forward, for Kenneth City, I think we should be in very good shape, and we get a new mayor, and the town should be going forward. So thank you very much for being here.
Thank you very much for your opening statements. For the first question, we will start with candidate Noble. It is, how do you plan to involve residents in the decision-making process in our town?
Thank you, that's a very good question. I think it first comes down to what I've just said is we need to make sure that the citizens are aware of what's going on in the town. So we need to have more interaction. We need to get, you know, whether it's a monthly letter that goes out to our citizens or whatever the case may be, so they're aware, and there's always ways to communicate back to the council members and the town manager and our staff that works very hard. And so once we get our communications going and people are aware of what's going on and more things are transparent, that allows for much better communication. There's a lot of times I hear when we have activities around, whether it be a spring festival or whatever, a lot of the citizens really don't know that it's going on. And so, you know, I think that's absolutely the first step, is to get a newsletter or something like that out for the citizens so they can be aware, and then set up a communication point, whether it's reaching out to the town manager or going, putting something on our website, or, you know, there's different methods, and we'll work with our IT people and our town manager and listen to our citizens at the council meetings to see what works best for everybody, because I know there's differences. Not everybody's on Facebook, not everybody, you know, has a computer, goes out to websites and things like that. So it's really important to get a robust communication system going so our citizens know what's going on, and then we can communicate better.
Thank you. The same question for candidate Arrison. How do you plan to involve residents in the decision-making process in our town?
So, since I've been the serving mayor, we have involved residents through our council meetings, where we have opened up communication, both in public forum, and then at the end of the council meetings when we've had reports, we've opened it up to residents for their input then. City manager that we have hired, he's now in his third month. He has hired a communication person up at City Hall who is an expert in web design, and she's worked diligently to correct issues that we've had with our web pages. We are getting ready to produce a newsletter. We're also getting very close to having our council meetings televised. So that's different steps that we've taken. I'm always willing to listen to residents. As I walked each house in Kenneth City, it took me a week to do it. I had a lot of input with residents, and communications was not one of their biggest issues. One of their biggest issues was paving, also stormwater issues, and we've taken steps to correct that. But Kenneth City is aware of communication. It is things that we are going to address, and as mayor, I plan on stepping forward and making sure that all the residents know what's going on in Kenneth City. Thank you.
Thank you. For the next question, we will start with candidate Arrison. What are your plans to enforce all traffic rules?
All traffic rules, did you say traffic
Yes,
rules?
what are your plans to enforce all traffic rules?
Okay. So in Kenneth City, we have major thoroughfares, just 3 or 4 on 54th Avenue. Our police department is diligently working to do that. They give a monthly report out, and sometimes there's almost 700 traffic stops that they go out and issue warnings. We also had a concern on 49th Avenue, which is a major thoroughfare between Hollins High School and 58th Street. The city manager, Will, I've talked to Will about that. The residents have asked that live on that street for speed bumps, and Will is in the process now of getting speed bumps. They will be rubberized ones, they will not be the concrete ones, and that will be able to stop some of the speeding on that road. The other thing is just getting with the Kenneth City Police Chief through the city manager. We are a city manager form of government here. We are not a strong mayor. And so everything that the mayor does or the council does has to go through the city manager. That is the proper form. So I will talk with Will and we'll see what we can do for 54th Avenue, 58th Street, and 46th, as well as 49th, to correct any issues of speeding that the town has. Thank you.
Thank you. Candidate Noble, the same question. What are your plans to enforce all traffic rules?
Thank you. I think some of this is, stems from Chapter 54. Chapter 54 outlines parking on grass and RV, recreational vehicles and things. I mean, first of all, I will say I believe our police department does a tremendous job. They have their accreditation. They're highly respected throughout the state of Florida, especially for a small town like us to have an accredited police department is a phenomenal thing. But so in Chapter 54 and other things, we do have a great code enforcement employee now, and he does go around, and I've heard great things about him. There is also a committee now that is looking at Chapter 54. The problem is a lot of these things have not been enforced because the police, it was not written, so it was enforceable. And so our committee is going in Chapter 54, and we're updating that to ensure that everything is enforceable. So whatever the committee comes up with, it'll be brought to the council, and then the council will make changes or approve it. And then we're making sure that whatever is in there is enforceable, and it's also in our strategic plan to go over our codes, because a lot of it hasn't been updated since the 50s. And so that is something that will be in our strategic plan that's going forward. And once these things are enforceable, then our code enforcement and our police officers can do their job a lot easier. Thank you.
Thank you very much. For the next question, we will start with candidate Noble. Do you support televising meetings so residents can view at their leisure?
Oh, that's easy, 100%. I've been pushing for that for quite a while. And a nice thing is, you know, many of you may or may not know that, you know, YouTube, you can store your meetings out there, and it doesn't cost the town anything, which is a great thing for the town. So once we get our new system set up with new TVs and things, you know, we'll be able to store that stuff out on YouTube, and people can watch it no matter where they are, and that will go. They can watch it on their phone, wherever you can get YouTube. But then that'll be another tremendous asset about getting communication out to our citizens. Thank you.
Thank you. Candidate Arrison, same question.
I also support the televised meetings for getting information out to the citizens. We are very close to doing that right now with the new programs that are in place. We have the cameras installed, as you can see, the televisions. The only downside of televised meetings is you take away interaction between the council and the citizens. If you're at a televised meeting, you cannot ask questions, you cannot speak in public comment, you cannot speak at the end of the meetings like I'm allowed. You cannot have a voice on any ordinances that are being passed. It's just a one-way situation. So yes, it's important for residents, but I would like to see residents use that who are sick or disabled or do not have the ability to come to a meeting. But I would like to see is this meeting packed like there is in other municipalities, So there is actual interaction between the residents and the citizens and the council, so that citizens can speak what's on their mind and get an answer, and that's the proper way of doing it. So yes, public televised meetings do have a format, but they do not take the place of having actual citizens in the meeting for interaction. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And for the next question, we will start with candidate Arrison. How should the city prioritize stormwater management projects, and what criteria should guide decisions about where and when investments are made?
So stormwater issues is the number one concern for many residents in Kansas City. Again, I tell you that we are a city manager form of government. We hired we listen to residents, and we've had city managers come and go, as you know, and in these public meetings, residents said, let's hire someone with experience and not education. So we followed what the citizens had, and instead of spending a fortune on headhunters, we hired within. Didn't cost us a thing, and we had a forum right in here with Will Herbert and one other individual, and Will has extensive knowledge on stormwater. So since Will has taken hold of the city, he has divided the city into 4 quadrants. So we have already taken one quadrant and fixed the pipes in one of the lakes, and we're in the process of doing the other 3. So this is an issue that is ongoing today to fix the stormwater issues. Some of the residents say they're surprised that we've done it so fast. Well, we've kicked the ball down the road long enough, and we've had a lot of projects in the last 6 months that we are making progress on, and I'm pleased that stormwater is one of them that we're addressing each day. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The same question for candidate Noble. How should the city prioritize stormwater management projects, and what criteria should guide decisions about where and when investments are made?
Thank you. There's been some planning done already. You have to do the research first, and you have Lake Lowry that's the highest lake, and our engineer has gone ahead and done a lot of planning for that. And so what has held us up some is we didn't have an updated comprehensive plan. We didn't have an updated strategic plan. So why those are important is because it tells Tallahassee that you're really ready to do these things, and you really have plans. And when you go and ask for money to get grants, you need to have shovel-ready projects. And so recently, there's been a couple of grants for planning. I think they were like, about $80,000 or something like that. So you can go ahead and get the planning done, and then once we go up and we have now that we have our strategic plan and we have our comprehensive plan done, we can go ahead and go up to Tallahassee and get some grant money. And there's a lot of grant money that's given out, and with the 4 quadrants that are done, that is actually scoping our pipes. And so through scoping, you'll know, but our engineer has done a lot of work, and he basically knows Lake Lowry, for instance, is very low water level, and our other lakes, we have 7 lakes that flow into Joe's Creek. And so you have the Lake Lowry will actually get a lot more of that water, so it'll drain the streets more rapidly. But as you know, that's a huge project, takes a lot of money. So we had to go ahead and put steps in plan first, just like if you were building a house, you need an architect to do your plans first. Thank you.
Thank you very much. For the next question, we'll start with candidate Noble. Residents have asked for more community events. What are your plans in this regard?
So we have our new town manager has just brought in Kiwanis, and so there's people around, businesses and things that are working with Kiwanis. I have joined that myself, and so we are going to have, more things for the children has been our focus with Kiwanis, that's what they do. And so we're gonna start, you know, we're just building this now, but we're gonna have, more things for the children to do, different activities and things like that. And as, our new town manager gets more involved, we're gonna, you know, we'll have a spring event and there'll be some other things going on, you know, and once we can start getting some donations and different things, cause it's costly to do these events. You have to have security, you know, and a lot of different things. So, you know, it'll be building throughout the years. And I think Kiwanis was a huge start, so we can start focusing on things for the kids. And then once you do that, it brings out the parents and, you know, the community starts communicating with one another and they start coming out and seeing one another. So it builds more of a community atmosphere, and we'll just get input to see what we actually can afford and what we can do and what we can build with, the teams that are going forward. So thank you.
Thank you. And candidate Arrison, the same question. Residents have asked for more community events. What are your plans in this regard?
So, candidate Noble talked about Kiwanis. Kiwanis is not a Kenneth City sponsored, service club. Kiwanis is a standalone organization, not endorsed by Kenneth City. Any resident, any person can join Kiwanis. I also have joined Kiwanis. One of the things that we're gonna do is we're gonna start having, pickleball, forums that, we're ready with, the flyers are out already for the dates to get, the children involved in pickleball, learning pickleball. We need to reach out to the youth. The youth has nothing going on here. We have a lot of events for the adults, but we need to focus on youth. Another thing we'd like to get back to doing is we have the equipment in place to have the movies in the park. That's another thing that I would like to see. We have the equipment already in the warehouse, we're just not using. I would like to see that. I wouldn't mind seeing some open markets, that residents can come and do open markets. As far as we do our spring, our Christmas is very good. We need to expand that, get that larger, trunk or treat. Just open it up to the city and let residents come with the youth, but focus on youth and get these kids something to do that's organized and not something just coming to the park. But we're taking steps to do that, and that's something that I will aggressively work with the town council and the city manager to involve our children. Thank you.
Thank you. For the next question, we'll start with candidate Arrison. What are your plans for improving paving and making sure residents are informed?
I couldn't hear the.
What are your plans for improving paving?
Paving, you said?
Paving.
Okay. So what we've done on our council, we have surveyed the town. Residents are concerned about paving. We just completed last week our first paving project on Lake Charles, just east of 58th Street. We've identified 3 streets. We only have the funding to actually do 1 street a year. So we did our first one, we completed that last week. Residents are very pleased. We need to keep working on that and keep addressing the funds every year for budget. Public Works also is very, very happy to go out and take care of any pothole issues, but that's a Band-Aid. Some of these streets need repaving. We haven't done any paving in this town other than what the county has done in probably 15 years, but we have completed our first project. We have another one that we will address as our funds are available, and we're going to take care of it, and we'll stay on top of it, and I will work with the council and make recommendations to our city manager to address the paving issues. Thank you.
Thank you. And the same question for candidate Noble. What are your plans to improve paving, and how will you make sure residents have a say?
So there's an actual test, and I don't know what it's called. I've been told, but I don't remember. That they go along and measure the asphalt and things and see what the worst roads are. And so there needs to be, you know, that kind of a test done, so we know what the worst roads are. In addition to that, that goes hand in hand with your infrastructure, replacing pipes and doing your pipes, because the worst thing you wanna do is go out and just pave a road and then say, oh, we need new pipes, and rip up the road you just paved. That's, you know, kind of very costly mistake, in my opinion. And so, once we start going up, once we get our roads identified, we work with our engineer, and we see what kind of grants we can get and things, and we start redoing our infrastructure as it needs doing. And in addition to that, when you go up there and you're doing a project like that, sometimes the grants pick up for the paving, so it lessens the cost to the town. And so you need to make sure that you're working hand in hand with your improving your infrastructure and also improving the roads, so you're not redoing the roads that you just paved, and also trying to, you know, cut down the cost on repaving and putting it into a project that's being done for your infrastructure. And so it kind of goes, and then, you know, with our communication that needs to be set up, there should be good communication out to the citizens. Transparency is one of the most vital things that we need in this town, to make sure that people understand what's going on, and they can just pull up on the website, Facebook or something, and look at it. Thank you.
Thank you. And for the next question, we will start with candidate Noble, and I've combined a couple questions that were on the same topic, just to let the audience know. How do you plan to foster good working relationships with the town manager and staff to improve overall culture and tenure?
I believe our culture is improving now. We have a new town manager, and there is just a lot of good things going on. I hear good things about, well, certainly I've met our new employees, but everybody has a good working, it's a good working atmosphere under our new town manager. And as Mr. Arrison has said, that we do have a manager council, and you go by the code, you know, the code for council and manager relationships. And the council, actually, we set, we are the legislators, we are oversight for the money that gets spent, we approve the money and things like that, and then the town manager implements that. So for instance, if people bring up and say they want better communication, it's a responsibility of the mayor and the council to have that discussion on the council with the citizens, and then it's up to the town manager, once we decide that yes, this is something we want to do, it's up for the town manager to decide with his employees how he wants to do that and implement it.
Thank you very much. And candidate Arrison, the same question. How do you plan to foster good working relationships with the town manager and staff to improve culture and tenure?
So our town charter, that's our constitution. We have to abide by that. We are a city manager form of government. One of the issues that we've had in Kenneth City is not only the high turnover of city managers, but it's also the high turnover of employees. The number one issue that when I was led the initiative to get Will as city manager through council meetings, and one of the things I talked to Will about is we need to retain our employees, and how we do that is not interfering with the running of the city, okay? Everything goes through the city manager. The council and the mayor and the city manager's responsibilities are outlined in our town charter word for word, allowing what to do. It's not how I want to work with the city manager and what I suggest, but it's how the council works. It's not an individual issue where I dictate to the city manager what we want to do. It's the responsibility of the council. And I've done that as far as working with Will to retain employees and foster our relationship. We cannot afford to lose our trained people. And I'm very proud of what we've done on the council since I've been serving mayor to foster relationship and correct a lot of the wrongs that have done in the past. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And for the next candidate, for the next question, we'll start with candidate Arrison. If Tallahassee does away with property taxes, how do you see the town raising lost revenue due to the lack of property taxes?
Well, first of all, I don't think that, the state of Florida will be able to do that. Small municipalities have actually no way of actually raising that funds that we would lose. Governor DeSantis has stated publicly that if the property taxes go away, the state will have to subsidize a lot of the small municipalities. We have a small business structure here for our business taxes. We're not a beach community, so we do not have tourism. We do not have the parking for beaches. It would be a disaster for us to be in that situation. And I will work with the town attorney through the council and the town manager to oppose to this legislatively to stop this from happening, because it would be not disastrous for just us, but every single small town in the state of Florida would face the same thing. So hopefully the state legislators will see the error in this and will correct it, because we cannot make up that funding. I don't know how we can actually do it.
Thank you. And candidate Noble, the same question. If Tallahassee does away with property taxes, how do you see the town raising lost revenue?
Right, so when they go along and they make this, if it's a Senate bill or a House bill, whatever they propose, it's required of them to show how they're going to replace the money for these towns. The towns raise a lot of money, they get a lot of money through their taxes, and it's a very difficult thing, and that's a very difficult question to answer, because there's nothing concrete right now. I've been reading every day the proposals that they're doing, and it will be a dilemma. That's really all I have to say. I do keep up on it. It will be very challenging, but if they do, whatever they pass, they have to prove that all the towns in Florida will have a way to make up that revenue. And so I haven't seen that yet, so I really can't answer it any more than that.
Thank you. For the next question, we will start with candidate Noble. Which strategy should Kenneth City pursue to increase affordable housing?
We don't have a lot of land. It's not like we have a lot of land to go and put affordable housing up. There's a place right across 5-4 that's a big lot, and you could put multi-use in there, and we could work with the state, and I know they have inquired, actually DC has inquired about that land to put more affordable housing on that property. It's another thing that our comprehensive plan, the second phase of that would allow, we could put in there to use multi-use. So if there's places that go up, you could have housing on the top, and you can have businesses on the bottom. That's what multi-use is. But other than that, we're pretty we don't have a lot of extra land here. Like I say, I know of that one parcel in DC has inquired, people up in DC have inquired about that, so. But other than that, it will go through our comprehensive plan and see what we want, what types of buildings and things that we actually want. It's planning for the town and the growth of the town. And, in that, you put that you want to have affordable housing, and that's where that is incorporated.
Thank you. And candidate Arrison, the same question.
And we're basically landlocked, and we only have 2 parcels of land that are available to do any type of building on it. So work with the state to see what we could do. One way we could actually get a little bit more land is if we were to aggressively annex property. City of St. Petersburg is currently on a very aggressive annexing plan to go north. They've annexed just in the last 3 weeks properties along 66th Street, which are very close to borderline in Kenneth City. So annexation could provide us a little more land. Annexation could provide us with some existing low income assisted housing that we could take over in the town and manage to increase that, make it more affordable. So that's one issue how we could do it, is annexation of properties to get a little more land. But with just the 2 lots, we'd be very restrictive. I bet you we couldn't probably have more than 30 apartments on there, but it's something that we could look at, and I would be willing to open any discussion with that with our council. Thank you.
Thank you. And the next question will be the last question before we move to a closing statement. And we'll start with candidate Arrison. Each of you bring different experiences and skills to the table. What is your strongest asset for this position, and what is something you respect or could learn from the other candidate?
So I've been a resident in Kansas City since 1973. Lots of changes in here. I spent my whole career in various management positions with GTE Verizon, also a veteran, served in Vietnam and learned a lot of different management skills throughout my career. What I think I brought to the table so far is the ability to listen and be transparent to all citizens. I've done that at the council meetings, I've done that in one-on-one discussions. I did it when I knocked on every single door in Kansas City. I will, in complete transparency, say that on a Saturday morning I did have my son and my brother helped me, so, and then when they had an issue with the resident, they would call me over and I would talk to them. So I'm always willing to listen to every resident. We've opened up council meetings where residents feel free to talk. We've opened up where the candidates, or not the candidates, council members, feel free to talk. And that's some of the things that I'm most proud of, is how we've listened to the residents and responded to the residents and answered their questions. As far as what I can learn from the other candidate is just her knowledge of comp plans and grants. But grants take time. You know, we can pursue grants, but some grants will take a year and a half. And we need to take action now, which we've done since the last 6 months. Thank you.
Thank you. And candidate Noble, the same question. Each of you bring different experiences and skills to the table. What is your strongest asset for this position, and what is something you respect or could learn from the other candidate?
Thank you. I've lived in the town for quite a while myself. I've lived here since '88, and I'm also a veteran, Air Force veteran. I was in the Air Force for 10 years, and I had a lot of opportunity there to manage. I've worked for Fortune 50 companies after I came out of the Air Force for the rest of my life, basically, until I retired in the IT. And so, you know, I've always worked very collaborative in IT. I've worked with the business. You have to be very collaborative, and I think that's a strong suit of mine to bring to the town. I'm very collaborative. I'm a very good listener. I do listen to people, and then I bring it up in council meetings. I have before. I'm very good at process. I'm also very good at making sure that we're in compliance, and that's been a huge issue with our town. We've lost tens of thousands of dollars because we haven't been in compliance. We've also had restrictions put on us where we couldn't change zoning and things because we have not been in compliance, and I'm very aware of that. And I have to say my opponent, I really appreciate that he's allowing people to ask questions now, and we're actually answering questions in our council meetings. And I certainly have to compliment him for that, because that was been much needed for a long time. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Now we will hear a 2-minute closing statement from each candidate, and since we started with candidate Arrison, we will start with candidate Mayoral.
Thank you. I appreciate everyone for coming tonight. And you know, there's been things about the charter brought up, and you know, some of the problems, and it is on our strategic plan, a lot of our charter hasn't been updated since 1957. There's still places in the charter that says, you know, go to the council member that's over that department. You know, so that needs to be updated, and there's a lot of things that need to be updated. And it's not the fun stuff, you know, it's not the events, it's not, oh cool, we got a new playground and stuff, you know, which is all great stuff. But all of these things are back behind the scenes that make the town run smoothly and keep the money coming in from Tallahassee and things like that. And, you know, we need to do that. That's very important, and you need a mayor that understands that and that can, you know, facilitate that from the dais and make sure that the council members are educated. And I think that that's another thing that we haven't done for a long time, well, I can say never, that I've ever seen, is that I've never seen that there's no transition, no turnover. There's, when new council members come, it's, you know, like jump in. There's no training, no nothing. And we've had a problem with that. We finally have an employee handbook, and we finally have some job descriptions, but there's a lot more that needs to be done to ensure that our town is running smoothly, and that we have, and that is what's going to keep longevity here. That's what's going to keep the employees happy when they know what to do and they're moving forward. There's a succession plan. And, you know, I certainly do have a outlook and a vision for the town, and it's making it more walkable and a lot of things, and I don't want to get the stop sign, so I'll shush.
Thank you very much. And candidate Arrison, you have 2 minutes for your closing remark.
So when we did the Police Appreciation Day, I read the history of the police department, not Kenneth City, but police general from colonial days. New Amsterdam was founded. They were the second police department, and they reformed to fight the crime in the city, robberies, burglaries, muggings. They're still fighting that same situation today in New Amsterdam, which is now New York City. So all I can talk about is history. Where do we want to go history-wise? Do we want history to replace itself? When we were in the process of looking for a new city manager, one of the city managers in Pinellas County called me up to talk to me, and he goes, you know, the reputation for Kenneth City is not the high turnover city managers. The problem with Kenneth City and their bad reputation is the council. And I took that to heart. As I was appointed serving mayor, we tried to get things corrected. We now have a council that operates with peace and unity. We've got a lot done. We've formed a committee for Chapter 54. We've done paving. We've done employee handbooks. We've fixed parks. We've done more than we've fixed sewer issues. We've got more done in 6 months than we had in the last few years. So I just ask the residents as you vote, do you want to have history repeat itself that's been going on for the last 9 or 10 years, or do you want to move forward like we have been for the last 6 months? Thank you.
Thank you to the candidates for participating this evening and for their commitment to public service. Before we go, a few reminders for voters. Please contact the Pinellas County Supervisor of Elections to ensure your mailing address is current. Vote by mail ballots are not forwardable. Florida law requires voters to request a vote by mail ballot after each general election. That means you'll need to, you didn't request for you, even if you requested one last time, you have to request it again. Vote by mail ballots must be received by the Supervisor of Elections no later than 7 p.m. on election day. The the league recommends trying to post it about 10 days in advance to be sure that it arrives in good time. Nonpartisan information about the election, the candidates, and their responses to additional questions is available in the voter guide at vote411.org. Thank you to the league volunteers who assisted with this forum, to the Kenneth City staff and police officer for their support and for hosting this event, and to everybody here for attending and joining us today. This concludes the Kenneth City Mayoral Forum.